Hello and welcome to another day of the Global Littlewargame League 2024. I hope you're all doing well. Just want to remind you all of the map pool. It is the ranked map pool with the addition of Thieves' Isle. And today I'm going to be bringing you a match from the Alpha League. Here's what it looks like as of right now. Avocado Lord taking down B Sherm in a 2-1 quarterfinal match. And today we'll be looking at the quarterfinal match between WeirdRat and mderg. So WeirdRat is obviously a very strong player, probably possibly the favorite to win it all. mderg taking down Slammer 4 in his group stages. Excellent, well done. Did lose to Avocado Lord, but did beat Python to move on. So we're gonna take a look at the game. We'll hop straight into it. The first game is gonna be on Ravaged, spawning in the top left-hand side of the map. It is WeirdRat. Oh, I didn't reset this correctly. Let me just fix that. There we go. Now I'm tempted to restart. I will not restart. It's a bit more personal if it's all real. And you can see all the mess ups in real time. And spawning in the bottom right hand side of the map, it is mderg. And mderg has had a very, very good tournament so far. He's played very, very well. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that from him. And right now we have just houses for both players. Interesting that WeirdRat is placing his house in this location. This is something that I like to do if I am going for a FE 2-den, Fast Expand 2-den. And the reason is it's just because you get a little bit more gold in the early game. A tiny bit more compared to when you put it on the low ground. And if I had to guess, that's what WeirdRat is going to be going for, a Fast Expand 2-den. mderg gonna go for a Rax as his standard is. And no, actually I'm wrong. So it is gonna be a Wolves Den. Yeah, so WeirdRat gonna play a little bit of Beast. So WeirdRat is a very strong player, is able to play all three different factions and hybrids and all of that. But if I had to choose a faction that is his weakest, I would say it is Beast. He's gonna go for a 2-den, so gonna try to test mderg's early game. Or perhaps he's thinking, I want to be extra safe. But yeah, as I was saying, WeirdRat is probably not the strongest Beast player. Or at least I want to say his Beast play is probably the weakest out of all of his races. I think his Rax is excellent. His mech is very solid as well. But yeah, so this is actually the same build that Slammer did against mderg. It was a game on Xenos. Slammer deciding to go for a 2-den, and that's kind of the sort of the expectation I have with people who think they're better than their opponent. They kind of want to play extra safe and or at least not die to anything in the early game. So 2-den is one of those builds that is really good for that. You get a lot of scouting with the mobility of the quick wolves, and also you just kind of don't die to a lot of things. Yes, you kind of die to the 2 Rax Raider if it's microed correctly, but other than that, not really anything. So I don't mind it at all. This first wolf is going to go across the map, do a little bit of scouting. We'll see how well how much information it can glean. The first raider is out for mderg. So one thing to note is that WeirdRat did go for an economical 2-den. It wasn't like one of those early dens like 7, 8 house, something like that. This was a full 10. So yeah, this is obviously WeirdRat saying, I don't want to be too far behind economic-wise. And first good hits out of mderg is going to be able to flash again and get that hit again. WeirdRat is probably going to sacrifice, to just check to see if there's a base. Maybe not. He's just going to try to escape. But so far, a good start out of mderg. WeirdRat also noticed that he is sending his walls to the sides of the middle of the map just to scout to see if there are any additional proxies. Not additional, any proxies, period. This raider is going to see that additional wolf. Also, one thing to note is that if you do go around, you do reduce the chances of your opponent knowing that is a 2-den. But mderg should know that by now. This wolf does escape, is going to bring that other raider back, and is going to try to defend. And we saw some excellent defense out of mderg against Slammer when he did that 2-den. And we'll see if mderg is able to do the same. He's going to pull, looks like 3 workers, very nice, and is going to not get trapped. So good start so far out of mderg. Getting those early hits on this wolf actually was a pretty big start. And WeirdRat is saying, okay, that's enough. I know what you're up to. I'm not going to build any more wolves. I'm just going to play it safe from here. Or not play it safe, play it economical from here. mderg is being very passive with these raiders. Yes, obviously you don't want to get surrounded, but at the same time, this was a lot of potential damage, potential DPS that is being missed out on. WeirdRat can try to dive in. I do like that he's sending just a single wolf over here, the weak one, just to attack this house. I think that's a great idea. mderg going to go for a archer on the back of this. So WeirdRat doesn't kill his opponent, right? He's going to be behind, though, because he's obviously invested into this 2-den, and his natural castle is going to be that much later. This is a very ambitious attack out of WeirdRat. That can be definitely punished from mderg here. Yeah, some very nice play. Good pullback out of WeirdRat here, pulling that wolf back. And he's going to go for a fortress. Very interesting. So this looks like, this is giving me those vibes from the game versus Slammer for sure. This is looking like almost exactly the same game, same sort of style. You have the quote-unquote better player going to go for a nice and safe 2 racks, and then it's going to be held very, very handily by mderg, saying, okay, no, you can't kill me with that. I'm not that bad. And just going to go into a fortress from here. So, yeah, if you look at the units, mderg is going to be ahead. This is actually, he's not as ahead as I thought, but I guess partially part of that is going to be the fortress coming in, going to lose a little bit of workers. And also the fact that WeirdRat did go for a more economic 2-den than one would normally. WeirdRat also going to go for a castle. So that is going to be a quick 3rd base. Also going for a bird. So I do like this bird. This is going to give WeirdRat that scouting information that he so desperately needs. And hopefully wants to find that fortress in time. mderg also, once again, I want to say he's being very passive with his raiders. This is good because you don't die, but at the same time you're not doing the scouting information, you're not getting as many wolf kills as you would like. So far 2 going down, but you know, obviously that's very nice, but I think it could have been a little bit more if he had been aggressive, especially in that early stages of the 2-den. Yeah, that's just something to note. I do like that he repaired this house right back up to full health, something that some people just kind of ignore, and then they're like, oh no, my house, and it just allows an entry into the main base. So that's just something that it was very nice. Good worker transfer out of WeirdRat here. And we have that fortress being done. We have a single dragon's lair on the way. Whoa, this is absolutely huge. This bird being sniped is, oh my goodness, mderg is playing out of his mind. WeirdRat drops the bruh because that bird was crucial for WeirdRat. He needed to see what was going on. mderg absolutely anticipating that 100% is going to scout that or shut down that scout immediately. However, the star sentence here for WeirdRat might be tingling. He's going to throw down an advanced workshop immediately. So something to note is that mderg showed some two base builds in the tournament so far. So one of them was this build that he did against Slammer, where he went for the dragons there. He also used it to great effect against Python, I believe. Or maybe not. I don't remember. And then he also tried a 2-base werewolf drop build, which I believe he played against Avocado Lord, which unfortunately did not do enough damage. And or is it vice versa? I don't remember. It's been a while. It does get a free wolf here, very nice. But what I'm trying to say is that this advanced workshop sort of gets or takes down both of those builds. Yes, it's not as good against the werewolf build. You will need a little bit more ground, but it does shut down the airship if it is that build. And yeah, so that is some very nice play out of mderg. He is going to start his first dragon right now. And a bit of a poke out of mderg here as well. I think this is very nice. So far, he's playing really well. He held that 2-den extremely well, and he's going to go for this build. And yeah, things are looking pretty good. A little bit disjointed here with his raiders and his archers. He's going to be forced to flash a little bit. He's going to try to chase down that one weak wolf. Yeah, he's a little bit not the best army control here so far. He's being a little bit split. It's going to be a... Okay, that was almost close to disaster. I think WeirdRat could have definitely fought that a little bit more. He's going to see this third base delayed on the way. We have a tower going up for WeirdRat. So if this build was actually the other build, so if he had decided to... Ooh, does pick up full raider there. If he had decided to go for that werewolf build, I don't think WeirdRat has enough to defend. Because he has snakes. Yes, snakes are, you know, they're ranged, but they don't do enough damage against those werewolves with the inherent +4 armor. I think WeirdRat could be more or less dead if he had gone for it. But instead, mderg going to go for that dragon build. And I think it's looking a little bit better just because the advanced workshop is already complete. In that other game against Slammer, Slammer did not know of this until it was a little bit too late. And not just a little bit too late, it was a lot too late. He had too many dragons already on his side of the map. Another little thing to note, like he did in that game previously as well, mderg saving up the dragons until he has a good number of them. In this case, 3, and is going to go across the map now rather than going across the map one at a time and you know, giving up the jig. Good little run by here out of WeirdRat. Doesn't quite... Okay, it does retarget those workers. Can he get the last one? There we go. But they'll lose a handful of wolves for it. mderg is coming in with these dragons into the third base of WeirdRat. He does have a small... Not small. That's a pretty big portion of the army here, and he's not using that, so that is a big mistake out of WeirdRat. He's busy trying to get rid of this... deal with these dragons. A tower going up into the natural. No tower in the main, though, and these dragons are doing a ton of damage. Things are looking really good for mderg. Yes, there's a little bit of a counterattack. This could potentially be dangerous. If this tower was up, it would be a pretty easy hold, but that tower is not up yet. Needs to complete or finish building that. This is going to be a bit of a counterattack out of WeirdRat. It has potential to do some damage. No micro being done out of mderg. He's too busy trying to target down the tower on the other side of the map, it seems. And if he had been if he had been fighting this a little bit better, if he had been pulling back to the third base, I'd say mderg is absolutely ahead. But so far, WeirdRat did lose a entire gold mine, but the workers, or sorry, that's the wrong button. The workers are still even because mderg did take a later third, did have to cut a handful of workers for that fortress, which does mean that he's still in this game. This definitely could have been a lot better for mderg, but he's still in a pretty good position, I would say. These dragons kind of come in to try to save these archers. I don't know if that was the best idea. I would have preferred to see a little bit more damage to the workers instead of trying to go for these archers. Good target fire with these beast units. Going to try to target down the archers first, knowing that he doesn't have enough damage, or at least anti-air damage, with these snakes to deal with the dragons here. So that is some good target priority out of WeirdRat. Is finally going to complete this tower, but I think this could have been so much better for mderg. Like, it is still a very good position. You do have the map control with the dragons. He stopped building them. Going to stop at 5 here, and this... Yeah, I feel like this is a little bit of a missed opportunity. There was no tower in the main. Obviously, there's no real way to know that for sure if you're mderg, except for actually just flying in, which he could have done. And he also has a Mage's Guild on the way, so that is also going to be something that is going to come into play in the near future. You're going to get some mages, going to go for a big push off of 3 bases or 3 or 4 bases if we're to follow the script out of the game on Xenos versus Slammer. But yeah, that was a bit of a missed opportunity. I feel like he could have done a little bit more better crisis management on both sides of the map. I think he didn't need to lose his main Rax army here as easily as he did. And I feel like he had more opportunities to do a bit more damage to these workers. I mean, he did do a lot. So far, he's gotten 6 workers, but I think that it could have been a lot more. We have Fireball on the way. We have another Rax as well as a tower here. So going to go up to 3 Rax so far. These dragons going to try to poke in to do a little bit more damage. Not going to find too much, though. This beast army is going to come into on the other side of the map. I'm going to try to get a bit of a pick off here. mderg this time is going to smartly retreat back to his tower. At the same time, WeirdRat going for a 4th base. This is a little bit risky, but I think it's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine. He does have the map control. Has not seen these mages just yet. Does need to scout that. Yeah. Also interesting to note, mderg does not continue after building the 5, but now it's 7. So has built 7 dragons, is probably not going to build too much after that. One other thing to note is that Slammer actually invested into double Advanced Workshop, whereas WeirdRat is just going to stick with that 1. So that does mean that he's not overreacting to these dragons. I think he's so far done a very nice job. We have +2 attack on the way, I believe. Yep, there we go. And we have a first werewolf stand going to come in. These dragons going to probably look to do a little bit of harassment, get that confirmation on that 4th base. Hasn't quite seen it just yet, though. Fireball has just now completed, so this could be potentially a big fireball. He does have an airship here. Good small field. He does need a fireball. Excellent fireball is going to attack those retreating units, and that is a huge pickoff for mderg. Good start of the fight, and these dragons going to try to cut this off, but the ballista are going to drop and going to try to do as best as they can to just ward them off. So yeah, mderg he took a really good fight, but that does mean WeirdRat does know about it, and his response looks like is going to be a workshop. I do like this. Not a huge fan of this like werewolves against this, because slow field is really good, especially if you have the DPS to just back that up after it gets slowed. So WeirdRat also chasing down these dragons, very nice. Gonna try to chase them all the way back. Ooh, big pick off there. Yeah, and essentially the dragon threat is more or less completely contained with 2 ballista. He's gonna try to start to rebuild those, which is very nice. I do like that. mderg is also floating a little bit. Could be continually producing from these racks, but you know. You also don't want to make too many mages, right? If you make too many mages, the issue with that is that once you're out of spells, you're kind of just dead, right? And then maybe your opponent can try to bait out some spells and try to take a favorable fight later. So that is just something that you do need to be careful of. If you overmake mages, you don't have a good post-fight army, if that makes sense. We have a 5th base coming on the way forward, WeirdRat. Another workshop. We have a animal testing lab going to go up to additional upgrades, going to be +1 armor. So the armor, or the upgrade advantage, is pretty huge for WeirdRat. It's going to be up essentially 3 upgrades, because this is just the first forge over here out of mderg. mderg is going to go march across the map. This is not the biggest army. Yes, it's very sophisticated. There's a lot of mages, but it still doesn't have that meat to that army. I feel like if he had built maybe not this many mages he's built, I want to say like 10 mages. If he had built like maybe 6-ish and the rest had been a little bit more of just meat to the army, I think it would have been a little bit better. We're gonna take a little bit too much damage there. He's gonna drop and get that explosive shot off though, so very nice. Also, I do want to note that mderg is playing pretty defensive. I did add in these 2 additional towers. I don't think he quite needed this. This is a very nice house out of WeirdRat. This is something that he likes to do. Just put down a house over here. Gonna see this army rotation. I guess he already knew it because he saw it from the top side, but this is going to be a pretty scary army to defend. He's also going to go for a 5th base on this side after canceling this. He needs to go in right now, though. The longer this goes on, there's going to be more catapults. There's going to be more werewolves coming in. So far, this is an excellent start to the fight for mderg here. And this is looking pretty dire for WeirdRat. WeirdRat is actually on the verge of being absolutely just overrun. Good smash over there, gonna get 5 soldiers. This werewolf gonna try to come in and do some smashing as well. Gets 3 over there. I feel like mderg can be pushing the issue a little bit better. Those are some good shots out of these catapults though. Good pickup. Very nice. That's a lot of fireballs that were absolutely just burnt, doing nothing because of the pickup out of WeirdRat. So looks like he's gonna hold, and that really could have been a lot more dangerous for WeirdRat, I think. And this also comes at the cost of a lot of energy out of these mages. So he spent a lot of energy, hasn't really gotten much. Like he didn't really get anything, right? So so what once was a very scary army is now looking very, very vulnerable, especially if he traps himself here. A little bit of a surround being set up. Good slow field over here is going to get one werewolf in it, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Good drop micro over here at the same time. We have a big army of mderg just not doing anything. It's just chilling. That's not good. And looks like the front line is going to be decimated more or less. We have a good flank coming from the backside as well. The energy of these mages basically going to go down to basically zero. Is going to be forced to burn them all now, and this is so unfortunate. Had mderg been reinforcing, had he been producing continually, I feel like he would have had a very good chance. This was looking like a very scary army, very tough to deal with. But unfortunately, mderg not quite fighting correctly, in my opinion, and is going to be kind of shut down. And with that, I think WeirdRat just gets even more ahead. He's got, yes, he has to deal with these dragons. Where did all the ballista go? Did they all die? Let's take a look at the units lost. No, they're somewhere. Oh, they were over here. I remember now. Yes, army is still big, but this could have been this army with those mages. And as the game goes on, it's going to be a lot more harder for mderg to get back into it. So as the upgrades get more and more in favor, as he just mines from the additional bases that he has, and because he doesn't have that, mderg doesn't have that mage advantage anymore. He used to have like 10. He still has only 4, so that is not ideal. He's lost that sophistication. He's lost all that, I guess, longevity. Good slow field over here, though. Very nice. These ballista gonna take down another dragon, and yeah, it was looking really good for mderg. I feel like if he had executed that push a little bit better, he would have had WeirdRat even more on the ropes, but right now it's looking pretty good for WeirdRat. It looks like WeirdRat is going to lose these 2 werewolves, though. He's going to smash them. Going to do a little bit of hot pickups to try to save as much as he can, and so far doing a very excellent job. A little bit of a soldier run by coming to this top right base of WeirdRat. That looks like it's going to be doing a little bit of damage. There is a tower, but it is only 1 tower, and even with repair for it, soldiers will be able to win. Yeah, this is a worker transfer going from the main base to that bottom left-hand side base. These soldiers doing a little bit of damage. WeirdRat does need to respect that and spend some units. Is going to send a little bit of units now with that werewolf. Is going to try to take that center base at the same time. mderg going to try to take his 5th base in the bottom right. Not the bottom right, but you know what I mean. And this werewolf going to deal with this. These soldiers did a little bit of damage. They took down probably like a worker or 2 as well as that tower, but I do think that WeirdRat is too far ahead now. He's got too many bases. He's got, ooh, I like this fireball. Is going to do a handful of damage to those workers to get quite a few there. So far, only 16, though, workers have gone down from WeirdRat. So not as high as I expected, actually. Good smash over here. Is going to probably escape as well, especially with his airship just nearby, just in case it needs to do some hot pickups as well. But yeah, I feel like by now it's gotten a little bit too far out of reach for mderg. I think he had an excellent chance, but WeirdRat kind of has this in the bag. He's got too many bases. He's got some deadly tech out with the catapults and also the werewolf. I think he's in a pretty good position. He's also adding on some dragon's layers. Already has 2, gonna add 2 more for a potential big surprise switch. I do like that. And yeah, I guess one thing is that if mderg is able to max, let's say he maxes on a dream army of a whole bunch of mages, you know, he's going to put down a workshop, so maybe some catapults as well. And if he takes like an excellent fight, right? If he takes an excellent fight and somehow WeirdRat does something like, oh, I'm going to max out on dragons, but mderg already has ballista or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of the dream scenario. Potentially for mderg here. This wolf is going to do a little bit of harassment on that 5th base of mderg. Is going to delay it for longer than it really should. This is a pretty big smash. Oh, wow. You should not be allowing these smashes to happen, especially if you have mages, especially if you have those slow fields. These ballista are going to try to do a little bit of damage to these dragons. So far, these dragons haven't done enough damage. He's lost a few, and then he's remade them as mderg, but he really hasn't done enough damage with them. Yeah, he just hasn't done it enough. I feel like it really could have been, like I said previously, but so far, not ideal. Looks like we're going to try to set up a huge surround, going to come in from multiple different angles with a whole bunch of werewolves. This could be the finishing blow. This is a good surround. We're gonna see if this does a lot of damage. mderg needs to be tight with his life. Gonna try to throw down slow fields everywhere. It's good fireballs over here. Not gonna get enough damage though, I feel like. WeirdRat with a bit of a misclick over there. Good smashes though is gonna absolutely destroy this Rax army. Gonna reset the mages count back to 0. And these upgrades absolutely showing how important they are. +4 armor. What is this? +2 damage. Insane. And that means mderg is not going to get this 5th base up and running. Well, it is up, but it's not running. And yeah, just WeirdRat is too far ahead, I think, by now. mderg is still going to stay in this, obviously, because it is indeed a tournament game. You want to try to do your best and survive as long as possible, even if there is only a 5% chance of winning or whatever have you. Definitely something that you want to try your best. Gonna try to Q fire onto the mineral line with that catapult. Does get a shot off, but also does lose its life. Yeah. mderg gonna try to rebuild his standing mage army here, building 5 mages at a time. Good surround on these catapults. Gonna pick them off more or less for free. And yeah, WeirdRat doesn't really need to make this sort of aggressive move anymore. He's got the majority of the map. He can just deny the space over and over again. He's gonna deny it by taking it. That's very nice. But yeah, he's in a position where he just needs to outlast his opponent. Does he need to pick those up? Yes. Pick that up? No. Okay, does save it. Does need to pick these ones up as well. Okay, good save on those mages. Maybe a little bit slow, but that's okay. This ballista gonna try to take down these dragons, but this is looking like the end for mderg here. An excellent try, and I think he once again had a very nice, very good opportunities, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's gonna be able to take the win here. Not gonna be able to upset 2 titans in the Littlewargame scene. Yeah, if he loses this is, yeah, that's just, yeah, that's really unfortunate. I expect to see GG any second now, with these werewolves absolutely rampaging mderg space here. And it all really came down to, I think, mderg not being too, like, he didn't be aggressive enough, right? I think he was a little bit too timid. He played a little bit too scared. And yeah, it came back to bite him a little bit. That was game 1, and that is WeirdRat going up 1-0. There we go. And we're going to head into the next game. That game was played on, I believe, Silent Fjord. Let's take a look. Yep, indeed it was. We'll hop into it right now, and spawning in the top right-hand side of the map, it is WeirdRat. Spawning on the bottom left-hand side of Silent Fjord, in the red, it's mderg, and I have the numbers mixed up here because they changed spaces. There we go. Fixed. All right, so what do we expect to see from both of these players? I really think that this map is really good for some sort of like 2-base push potentially to do a little bit of damage with that lower ground if you're going to go for mech. Raiders are also really good against the natural because you can flash out And that's probably what I would expect to see. Maybe they have some sort of prepared strategy on this. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so far, nothing too interesting. Just some standard play so far. And we'll see what the first building for both of these players is going to be. We have a little bit of scout from mderg. We have a Rax and also a Rax on the other side. Okay. Okay, sounds good. We're going to have, looks like a bit of a, perhaps a Raider versus Raider war. I wonder if any of these players, yeah, it's probably going to be Raiders, especially on this map. Just because of the flash ability on this map. It's going to be, okay, so 2 Racks versus 2 Racks. And I'd imagine it'd be Raiders for both sides. And it's just going to come down to control. It's just going to come down to control. mderg going to go for an 11th worker. So this is a little bit inefficient in my opinion. You can't start the second Raider just as the Rax finishes with this build. So he does cancel it. Okay, there we go. Very nice. We're going to do a little bit of a scout in the back part of his natural. It's actually a little bit close, I guess. You could get the worker, but the thing is, it kind of messes up your supply. Not your supply. Yes, your supply. Your additional house timing. So it's generally better to go for just 10 workers with this build. All right. So it looks like from the rally point, mderg has these on different hotkeys and is going to try to, or maybe just change the rally point. But he's going to try to hide that this is a two Racks. Whereas it looks like WeirdRat is just going to rally them across the map. These Raiders are going to meet in the middle of the map. We'll see who has the better micro. So far, they're just going to be a little bit passive, and I don't mind that at all. Yeah, so this is going to come down to that Raider micro. One thing I do want to mention again for those of you who don't know is if you flash on top of your opponent, you get the first shot off with these Raiders, and that's more or less guaranteed. So that is something that is very important in these Raiders wars. So in this case, you would try to flash on top of anything. Does get 2 shots off out of 1. Good start for WeirdRat. Here he has 3. Does not get a attack off though. That is pretty big. Oh, that's a miss. Okay, so that flash was not necessary out of mderg. That is definitely a mistake. Let's try to set up a concave on the high ground. WeirdRat gonna try to pull that Raider back. Does flash away. Very nice start out of WeirdRat so far. Does have a Raider advantage as well as a hit point advantage. But the thing is, the reinforcements for mderg are gonna be quicker. I believe both players should know that this is a 2 Racks versus 2 Racks situation. WeirdRat not gonna go for more than 5 Raiders. Is going to do that build where you just skip the second house and go for the castle, but that does mean he doesn't have a very good number of Raiders so far. mderg going to use that defender's advantage to get some excellent pickoffs, and it's 2 Raiders down for both players. I think this is pretty even. WeirdRat forced to, instead of going for that castle after losing those 2 Raiders, decides, okay, I need to defend at home, goes for 2 archers and a house. So what was looking like a good starting advantage for WeirdRat has turned into a bit of a even game. WeirdRat forced to build that additional house and those archers, and yeah, things are looking pretty even so far. WeirdRat with a slight advantage with a little bit of a better fight over here just now, and we're gonna be going into a bit of a, okay, this is very interesting. Soldier, that might be a mistake if I had to guess. Does need to be careful about losing that. That was probably at like 3 or 4 HP. Good flash forward out of WeirdRat. Does get a Raider, but it looks like he's gonna lose a Raider at the same time. Ooh, that's a very nice back end of the flight there for mderg. Is gonna try to push across the map. 5 Raiders down for the 4 so far. WeirdRat does have 4 archers though. So archers are pretty good against raiders as long as you can actually get that damage off and start picking off the raiders. If the raiders snowball, if they are able to flashback, if they're able to stay alive while still doing damage, then the raiders can get incremental value, and eventually that will start to snowball. But in this case, it looks like mderg might not be able to find a little bit of damage. I really don't like this soldier. It's going to try to do a little bit of scouting information. I'm not going to see too much. No castle in sight. WeirdRat probably going to try to get at one right now, and indeed he does. This is going to be a big test of micro out from mderg. Unfortunately, going to lose. Okay, no, not quite. Does flash away in time. But yeah, this is a little bit sloppy because you're losing the high ground here, and this high ground is absolutely crucial. If WeirdRat just stands on this high ground, I guess yes, you can go around, but it's really tough for the raider player to just go up this ramp, knowing that there's a potential for archers just standing on top, denying all of that space. Castle is coming up for WeirdRat. Castle not on the way for mderg just yet. It looks like he's going to start that now. There we go. Is going to be approximately half a castle behind, which is not ideal. But at the same time, mderg does have the raider advantage, right? So he has a lot of regenerating units. He needs to use them, though. If he's playing this passive, they really don't gain a lot of value, right? It's not like raiders get more value over time if they're not actually actively fighting. So the thing is, with raiders, you want to be going in when there's a small number of units, right? The more units that WeirdRat has, the less effective these raiders are going to be, because they can just one-shot or like two-shot these raiders, right? Raiders are really good in small numbers, but they're not in that big army type of fight unless you go for some Shroud. So this is going to be really interesting. Shroud, obviously, for those of you who don't know, is an ability that reduces the range of all the units caught into it, except mech units, down to melee range. So that will affect units such as these archers and prevent them from shooting. The thing is, it's still pretty tough because there is a split second after the spell is cast, before the modifier is put into effect. And this is what I was talking about that high ground. Yeah, just losing that high ground vision is going to be really huge. One thing I also want to note is that if you are mderg, you want to be trading like just some hits, right? You want to be trying to do a little bit of damage here and there just to poke at this army without losing any raiders. But so far, he's been forced to being very, very passive, right? So this is some excellent play out of WeirdRat. Just taking the high ground means he has to be passive. But also, I think mderg is just not as confident in his raider micro as he could be. So if this sort of thing just continues on where mderg is just being passive without actively trying to trade some damage for some flashes, essentially, it's just going to get better and better for WeirdRat, because the raiders get that incremental value by attacking, flashing out, and regenerating that health. So you're getting free damage, more or less. This bird is also going to scout that army. That is a huge scout. Unfortunately, not able to deny that scout with just the single archer. So that does mean that WeirdRat knows what's up. He knows that there is likely to be Shroud coming. Yes, it could be archer range with 2 archers, though not likely. So he probably knows that there's Shroud on the way. He doesn't know how far that is done. I don't know if you can see if there's an animation on the army. That's something to think about. I don't believe there is. Good snipe on that bird. That bird going down. Unfortunate for WeirdRat. Does throw down a tower. Tower can be affected by Shroud. I do like that WeirdRat is going for these soldiers. This is his anti-Shroud measure, more or less. So I think that's good. But yeah, contrary to popular belief, Watchtower is affected by Shroud. But yeah, it looks like mderg is going to try to hit a timing attack. Shroud has completed. He's going to try to just march across the map and essentially win with this timing push. I don't think this is going to do enough, though. We're going to scout off to the top to make sure there isn't a raider scouting there. mderg is going to send a single raider across down to the bottom side here. Probably going to try to look to draw his army. No, actually, never mind. I was going to say that this is probably going to look to try to draw WeirdRat's army, so he would have tried to flash into the main. WeirdRat says, oh no, I need to deny that, kill that, and just pull off with the pull back with the archers, which would give mderg that time, that opportunity to regain this high ground. WeirdRat gonna try to take a third base in the face of this push. Good repositioning of that worker to get it into a safe location. Looks like mderg is trying to pull the trigger. This is probably not the best idea. There's that shroud. There's that second shroud. They're a little bit overlapping though. These archers gonna come, just walk away, and this attack has failed. Didn't attack with those archers at the same time either. So yeah, this is an excellent hold out of WeirdRat. Has a third base on the way. I think he's in a great position. I think, yeah, this build has it's kind of fallen flat on its face. It's going to try to take a third base and play on from there, but that's going to be pretty difficult, to say the least, especially against someone of WeirdRat's caliber. I do like this archer range. This is something that you can potentially do to get back into it. If you go into archer wars and you have just that range advantage, that could be huge, and I do like that. mderg going to try to target down this watchtower. Might be able to cancel it. Yep, there we go. Good cancel. And does want to... Okay, good flash away there. WeirdRat's castle is going to be a little bit delayed, which means that this castle is going to be at a more or less a comparable time or timing to WeirdRat's castle. Yeah, once again, I just want to say that these raiders could have been a little bit more active, trying to flash in to get some attacks and then just flashing out. mderg being a little bit too passive for my liking. Worker transfer by WeirdRat, going to saturate that third base up instantly. We have a advanced workshop coming up for mderg, as well as a mage. So yeah, looks like mderg is going to transition into mages. I think that's a great play. He loves his mages. He's going to try to do some fireball stuff. This is a bit of a run by that I don't quite agree with. These soldiers are kind of... Yeah, this is a very poor mistake out of WeirdRat. He just kind of sent his soldiers away without the archer support. And that means that looks like just one soldier, two soldiers make that, is going to be taken down for free. This might have been a fight that WeirdRat was, or mderg was able to take, especially with Shroud, but he's going to think better of it and just pull back. But that was a good pickoff for mderg, a little bit of a mistake for WeirdRat. We do have a... Excuse me, we do have a workshop on the way, as well as one for mderg too. So we have, looks like we can have double splash for mderg, Mage's Guild, and as well as some catapults on the in the future. WeirdRat going to attempt this run by again. Is going to get scouted instantly by this raider. Very nice. He's going to flash away. Very nice. So this is going to be another good pickoff for mderg. He can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. He's going to try to back off. That is very interesting. Does he know that this attack is coming? I don't think so. These armies going to miss each other in the middle of the map, and that is gonna favor... I don't know who it's gonna favor. Looks like as mderg is gonna be a little bit indecisive, it's probably gonna favor WeirdRat. Here's that archer army knocking on the doorstep of mderg. mderg is gonna say, okay, I'm just gonna need to come back and defend, and that's gonna be a lot of time where WeirdRat has that potential to do damage with these archers. There's nothing in sight just yet. mderg also hasn't sent this army all the way back either, so that is very risky. It looks like he's gonna try to set up a run by at the third base at the same time. WeirdRat must be very confused. Where is this army? And here it comes right now. Good Shroud coming in. Look at that AI for the archers, just derping a little bit here. So some excellent fight so far. This counterattack hasn't, or this run by hasn't done too much just yet because it hasn't gotten into position. That's the last Shroud over there. Is going to see this mage, so that's actually going to be some valuable information for WeirdRat, seeing that this soldier run by is a little bit delayed, but is just going to be taken care of more or less. It seems like not going to be able to do too much damage. So let's get a soldier, and it looks like that's just about it. Going to try to target down this tower. That does get a raider though. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty big pickoff if he gets the mage, but no, good pullback micro out of mderg. Not going to be able to get that, and fireball is almost done. WeirdRat at the same time taking a fourth base, and so WeirdRat is in a pretty good position. He did do a lot of damage, a lot of lost mining time, a lot of good scouting as well at the same time with that push, and I think he's in a pretty good position. If you look at the supply, that also tells you that much as well. mderg has made this advanced workshop, but didn't build a single unit out of it just yet. I don't know if that's just a mistake. It probably is going to go for a advanced workshop, or sorry, going to go for an airship out of that advanced workshop. Probably look to do either mage drops or catapult drops, which is definitely a way to get back into this game. And we also have that first forge coming in for WeirdRat, so he's going to look to get ahead in the upgrades as well. And this looks like mderg is going to try to do a bit of a push out. Looks like WeirdRat going to see that with these soldiers over here. Looks like that also means he's just going to come into the natural. Good job out of WeirdRat. Going to leave this archer army around and counterattack as soon as he sees that mderg's main army in the middle of the map. This is some good control. Some good multitasking. Gonna try to target this down. This is probably a little bit too ambitious, if I had to say. I also do like that he also split that one archer off just to see if he was being surrounded from the backside. Yeah, so that surround was definitely a little bit too ambitious. Is gonna be forced to just run away after losing a handful of units. At the same time, WeirdRat going to try to push into the bottom side. No, he thinks better of it. Going to try to retreat. Going to take another base at the same time. That's going to be his 5th base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5th base. And mderg has kind of been hemmed in on his side of the map. He had the raider control early on. He had the map control, but after that, it didn't do too much, I guess, with that. So, yeah, things are looking pretty good for WeirdRat. He's going to go for that +1 mech attack. So going to try to get those upgrades for those catapults. A little bit of a nice attack over here from WeirdRat. All right, so mderg is stuck on 3 bases, right? That does mean he's kind of forced to be in a position where he needs to do damage with this army. This army is scary. There's a catapult here. There are some mages, 4 of them, in fact. But this army is a lot less micro-intensive in a way. With this, you have to do some fireballs. You have to do some slow fields. You got to do some kiting back. But this army out of WeirdRat is a little less micro-intensive. Also, losing a few units for free, that is obviously not the best start. I'll just try to pick off a catapult, but it's unable to do so. So far, a good start for mderg. I guess you do have to be careful with some friendly fire potential if you're going for the soldier kata army. This is something that Destroy Call really likes to do, this soldier kata sort of style. mderg is also being caught trying to deal with this sort of small portions of this army, even though he should know that he's behind. He's been stuck on 3 bases for forever, but this sort of chasing down the army of WeirdRat isn't gonna do. Sure, maybe you'll get some damage. Maybe you'll get a good advantage here and there, hit some good trades, but that's never going to really win the game. You need to go across the map to really win the game, but and that's something that you can't really afford. You can't really afford that time, that luxury to do this if you're so far behind. Obviously, he doesn't know that at the moment, so that is, I guess, maybe in his mind, he's like, okay, I'm taking my 4th, I'll be fine, but WeirdRat looks like he's trying to gear up to take a 6th base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 6th base. This raider is going to spot that instantly, though. I do like this, though. So mderg is going to try to take down this base. Very nice. Looks like WeirdRat has a bit of a surround coming in. I do like this a little bit better for WeirdRat, but so far this fight has been going pretty well for mderg. Gonna take out a portion of WeirdRat's army more or less for free, with a good army positioning here, or poor army positioning out of WeirdRat. Now he's going to try to come up a ramp. That might be a little bit risky. Fireballs being thrown down, but not getting as much as he would like. These catapults kind of try to come in as well. And this army is very cornered. It's kind of stranded. There's nowhere to run. I think this is going to be very disastrous for mderg. Some fireball, or not fireball, some fireballs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5-ish fireballs. Make that just 2 now, and this army has been absolutely decimated. Gonna try to escape, but I don't think that's gonna be enough. a little bit of friendly fire onto those soldiers, but there's just too many catapults at the moment. This 4th base attempt of mderg was taken care of as well. He's going to try to micro his cart out, but I don't think he has enough. We have a bit of a soldier counterattack, but that is a full wall, not going to be able to do too much at all. And WeirdRat holds onto his 5th base, whereas mderg not able to take his 4th base, and that is looking like this might just be it. I think mderg had some excellent chances. He played really, really well in this tournament. Took down Slammer, had some very good showings against WeirdRat here as well. I think, but it just looks like WeirdRat was a little bit too much for him. A little bit indecisive in some of the plays that mderg did, and yeah, he's doubling his supply. So looks like mderg gonna try to do a little bit of drop play. This could potentially do a little bit of damage. Drop your soldiers on top of the army. Go for a little bit of a cata drop, but instead he's gonna combine it into one. It looks like. But yeah. Some good solid play out of WeirdRat. It was looking a little bit dicey perhaps with that Raider push, but did hold that very well with the high ground, and things are looking very good. Gonna try to drop onto these catapults with the soldiers. Good sort of play, but I don't think that'll be enough. That's a very nice pick off for sure. I do like that this sort of vision is really nice out of WeirdRat. This is the sort of, if you just look at the mini map here, this is the sort of thing that you really want in your games. You want to have that vision. Yeah, you can kind of see the difference in just the vision alone. We're not even putting down a tower here. That's going to be a little bit of zone control for sure. Looking very nice. We have this triple mills transition that WeirdRat really likes to do. Just do a little bit of a tech. This is kind of like a tech switch where you go for surprise dragons, except it's mills. And especially with those attack upgrades from mech, they get a lot better. Yeah. No 4th base in sight for mderg. He's kind of forced into just chilling on 3 bases and trying to do something, trying to work a little bit of magic, but I think his pixie dust has run out a little bit. Looks like he's going to try to take this base as his 4th. But there is a soldier there. Just being already aware of it. GG is called, and that does mean that WeirdRat is going to take this match 2-0. And let's take a look at how Alpha League is shaping up to be. If we take a look, that means WeirdRat is going to play against the winner of Hydra and Mr. Winter. That's going to be a very good match, I assume. Hydra and Mr. Winter both very good, and we'll see who comes up to play against WeirdRat. mderg, unfortunately, did have a great run, but he's going to be taken down by WeirdRat. And yeah, I hope this was as exciting as it was for me, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.